The EMD Cinema in Walthamstow, North East London, stands on a site which has provided entertainment to local people for well over a century. The original Victoria Hall opened in May 1887 to provide a venue for dances, concerts and plays. The building was converted into the area's first dedicated cinema in 1907, before being purchased in 1930 by Cecil Bernstein of Granada Theatres, who demolished the existing structure to make way for a modern super cinema, and the building as we know it today was born. The Walthamstow Granada opened on the 15th of September 1930 at 7:30 p.m, with a programme consisting of a stage show, live music by a 20-piece orchestra, a recital on the Christie Theatre organ, and the feature film Splinters, starring Nelson Keys and Sidney Howard. The architect of the beautiful new 2,697-seat cinema was Cecil Massey, with interior decorations by the famous Russian theatre designer Fyodor Komisarjevsky. Initially, the venue operated as a cine-variety theatre, presenting a mixture of live entertainment and films, along with art exhibitions and, occasionally, beauty contests. The Granada was equipped with first-rate stage facilities, and over the years would play host to such entertainment legends as the Beatles, Frank Sinatra, Count Basie, the Rolling Stones, Buddy Holly, The Who, and numerous others. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, the venue changed hands several times, with owners including the Cannon Cinema Group and Richard Branson's Virgin Empire, before being successfully absorbed into the Odeon chain. By now, the building had been listed by English Heritage in recognition of its outstanding architectural and cultural importance. However, in 2000, Odeon management decided to dispense with many of its older-style cinemas to concentrate on their multiplex business, and the Walthamstow venue, alongside several others around the country, was put up for sale. The building was then sold to businessman Mohan Sharma and EMD Cinemas, with a restrictive covenant preventing the screening of English-language films. This restrictive sales clause caused outrage amongst local people and led directly to the formation of the McGuffin Film Society, which campaigned to restore the venue as a cinema for the whole community. In April 2001, the campaigning paid off when Odeon dropped any further claim on the building, and the EMD was able to relaunch as a fully fledged cinema, able to screen any film in any language. Sadly, in the autumn of 2002, it was announced that the building was again to be sold. The prospective buyer this time was the Universal Church of the Kingdom of God, a controversial international religious group with plans to convert the venue into a place of worship. In response, the McGuffins immediately organised a new campaign to preserve the EMD as a working cinema, and a significant challenge was mounted to prevent the church organisation obtaining planning permission to pursue their scheme. To mark the closing night of the EMD, the McGuffins organised an enormous charity gala performance at the cinema on Friday the 3rd of January 2003. The event harked back to the cinema's glory days as a variety theatre, but also served as a very public demonstration of support for the campaign to save the EMD.
Good evening. Welcome to the McGuffin Television Society's last night at the EMD Cinema. We sincerely hope it's not the last night ever at the EMD Cinema. We can't wait to see if this building goes on. We're going to start tonight with a recital of the historic Christie organ. And to tell you a little bit about this, please welcome from the Cinema Organ Society, Mr. John Whelan.
Thank you, Bill. Well, Bill spoke about the cinema organ. He's too young to remember them, of course. There was a time when any self-respecting cinema in this country had a mighty Wurlitzer, or perhaps a mighty Compton, or even, like this one, a mighty Christie theatre organ. And to start the show tonight in time-honoured manner on the theatre organ, we are very fortunate to have Britain's top theatre organist. Please give a big welcome to Simon Baker.
Quite apart from anything else, these instruments sound best in this kind of building. So if you ever did take this organ out and put it somewhere else, I'm quite sure it wouldn't make the same magic sounds that it does here. And apart from anything else, it's the end of an era, really. Cinema organ doing its job in the building for which it was originally designed. And so it's a great privilege for me to be here, and I certainly hope to ensure that the organ gets a good send-off.
Ladies and boys and girls, thank you very much. God bless. I just like to give you a little thought. And that is, I'm so glad I've bloody done that. As you know, the bottom one collapsed, and we won't let that happen again. But anyway, we've done it, you know. Bit of mental control, bit of positive mental attitude. And if you've got that in life, I tell you, you can go a very, very long way. And one of the ways you can go is to save the cinema. Take care. God bless. See you soon.
I mean, that is not a church to me, you know, 100%. I mean, that is a cinema. And it, you know, I remember going there when I was a little lad, you know, and I enjoyed it then. And, you know, I enjoyed it the other day when I was down there, you know, performing on the stage.
That's all. Without any further ado, as I'm going to see it, you put the films.
We'll be the only London borough without a cinema if this happens, I think. But this is a tremendous building. If you look round it, you know, it's not just a cinema. There's a lot more here. There used to be music here. There used to be shows. There's the organ that's I think pretty well unique now. I think it'd be a tragedy for it to go.
It's really, really like nicely decorated, and it's really a bad thing that it's closing down.
Because we haven't got a cinema to get to, because our mums won't let us travel far.
Yeah, we have to travel like to Stratford just to go to the cinema. The nearest one's because we've got to get 2 buses to it.
Because we can walk from our house to here.
This is the only major entertainment venue in the town centre site. This is critical to the success of our regeneration project for the whole of Walthamstow. If we lose the cinema, we lose the only major entertainment venue for miles in this area, and we lose the only cinema in Hitchcock's Borough. I mean, it would be terrible.
In addition to providing entertainment at the venue, McGuffin members also carried out restoration work on the building itself. The interior decor was thoroughly cleaned. The ornate chandeliers were both cleaned and restored to full capacity. The original backstage lighting console was brought back into use especially for the last night's show, evidence of which was seen throughout the evening. Here we see one of the theatre's carbon arc spot lamps. This was the spot lamp used during the last night's show, in use at the venue for a live performance for the first time in almost 30 years.
Can we ask you to sign the petition, please, to save the cinema?
Following the last night of the EMD show, ownership of the cinema transferred to the Universal Church of the Kingdom of God, and the building immediately closed to the public. The next stage of the campaign to save the cinema would continue throughout the spring and summer of 2003, with fundraising events, public meetings and demonstrations. More than 2,500 people signed petitions in support of the cinema, and the campaign hit the headlines with extensive coverage from the national press, television and radio. Messages of support were received from far and wide, including those from Patricia Hitchcock, daughter of the world-famous film director Sir Alfred Hitchcock, and the Mayor of London, Ken Livingstone, who also visited the cinema to meet campaigners. Waltham Forest Council refused planning permission for the church organisation to pursue their scheme, but the case was then referred to the office of the Deputy Prime Minister, who decided that a public inquiry would be held in July 2003 to determine the fate of the cinema. It was originally anticipated that the public inquiry would be concluded within several days, but proceedings eventually ran to almost 3 weeks, as detailed arguments were presented by all sides. At the end of the public inquiry, government inspectors began preparing a report for the Deputy Prime Minister based on the evidence they had heard, although a final decision would not be made until much later in the year.
It is, of course, true that the campaign to save the cinema went on for a lot longer than anyone initially anticipated. The public support never waned. I mean, people really want the cinema back. Okay, our next speaker tonight is a man who spent something in the region of 50 years working with this theatre. Long before us. So please put your hands together for Fairy Girls.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This has certainly been a grand night. I've never seen this theatre so full. And the thing is, I will make a personal thank you to every one of you that's sitting up in that circle right now. I want to thank you not only for tonight, I want to thank you for something very more personal. And that personal message is that over my years, I owe so much to every one of you who was so loyal to me over these years. And I know very well that although for me, this is a very sad night, I can't believe what has happened. But it's not going to rest there by a long shot. This cinema was built for Granada, and that I have lived Granada ever since. This cinema was built for entertainment, not a church. Please save this cinema for all of us, for the young generation, for those of you up there now, and for those who have some wonderful memories about this place. 30 years ago, there was over 18 cinemas in Walthamstow. Tonight, this is the last one. The doors will close, but we've got to make sure we don't stop at nothing. Get this cinema open again, and it needs to be under very good management, good staff, and a public to patronise it. Thank you. Thank you so much for this night and for listening. God bless you all.
It's a lovely building. It opened in 1930. It had everybody on the stage you could think of, all the top stars. And so I would just like to finish to say I hope I live to see the day when I can walk in that cinema and walk on that stage. The church people have told me, they said that they're going to rebuild it, and don't worry about your cinema because we'll build a new one. So I said to them, then why destroy that one?
We'd like you to thank one group of people who are often overlooked, but the fact is, we couldn't do it without them. They've given us a lot of support, both this night and for many other nights. Please give it up for the staff. Well, we've finished the final curtain. At least for now. On behalf of McGuffin, I would say thank you very much for coming down and making tonight such a success. We're going to finish off tonight with a few more minutes of Simon Gillespie on the organ as going to play us out for now. Thanks very much for coming down. Good night.